Welcome, everybody, to the Future of Farms. My name is Jim Kurtz. I am the Executive Director of Harvest Harmonics, and I'm really excited to present to you. This is day 2 of our Black Friday special. We have this going on all week through next Wednesday, the 3rd of, actually the 2nd of, I'm sorry, Thursday, the 3rd of December here. Our Black Friday special is going on, and we are featuring a buy one, get one special. So whatever you buy of our Kyminasi plant booster technology, we will match that and give you the equal amount for free with our Black Friday special. Now, this technology is the most amazing technology for farming that's been around for the last 50 or 60 years. This particular technology has been out for over a year now, and we've tested this on over 100 farms. And achieved amazing results on virtually every crop we've tested this on. In fact, I'm going to share with you guys a few of the results we've seen and give you an idea of what we're talking about here, so you understand what this Future of Farms is all about here. So let me share my screen here with you guys, and we're just going to go through a quick presentation. Again, my name is Jim Kurtz with Harvest Harmonics. Our Black Friday special here is going off. It kicked off yesterday on Black Friday, and it's continuing on through the 3rd of December. And take advantage of this, because this is a huge value. We are matching up to $34,000, $35,000 worth of technology. So you have the opportunity to not only get the most amazing technology for agriculture to increase your crop yields, improve crop health, reduce soil compaction, and a number of other benefits. And you'll have a chance to do that at a huge discount here. So let's take a look here, guys. This is what we call the Future of Farms. And you see a picture here of a couple of different fields we've tested this on. Our mission is to help farmers around the world grow healthier, better quality crops at a lower cost with higher yields, all without harming the environment. And we are proving that we're doing this on farm after farm after farm. Kyminasi basically means more money for you guys. We went from, this is a pepper farm down in Peru. We went from 35,392 2 pounds per acre to 69,722 pounds. The average revenue per acre went from $14,567 to $28,698. The input cost went from $10,866 to $11,041. And the profit per acre for this farm went from $3,701 per acre to $17,656 per acre. That's an extra $13,955 per acre on this particular farm. And that's all profit. That's money in his pocket. So what is this product that's producing results like this, and what is it all about? Well, this is called the Kyminasi Plant Booster. And if you want more information, you can go to our website at harvestharmonics.com. And if you'd like to look at the results, you can go to our results page. You can also review the science behind our technology. But in a nutshell, this product is a result of biophysics applied to agriculture. Now, all that means is we're using the laws of physics to enhance the biological processes of plants. So things like photosynthesis, nutrient absorption, root density, those types of things. The actions of our technology improve the metabolic processes of plants at the molecular level. Now, we have a series of signals that our system generates, which first counteract negative environmental impacts on plant health. And then it reinforces the plant's natural potential to absorb nutrients and use it efficiently. That then, in turn, appears to widen the range of conditions under which photosynthesis can occur. So instead of going into a survival mode when the conditions get bad, the Kyminasi Plant Booster allows those plants to continue to produce under adverse weather conditions. Now, the end result of this is increases in both quantity and quality of production yields. Now, our system, the Kyminasi Plant Booster, is designed to really improve and enhance 3 key areas of plant health. The first is the absorption of water and nutrients. We maximize the energy production of the plant during the light side of photosynthesis. We increase the root density for long-term plant health. Now, whether you have a perennial plant like a tree fruit, or do you have other types of plants that stay in the ground and continue to produce over and over every year, or if you just have an annual plant that just gets tilled and then we replant every year, it doesn't matter. The root density of that plant is going to be a key component in whether that plant produces very well or does not. And the Kyminasi Plant Booster has been shown, which we'll show you here in a few minutes, has been shown to increase root density by up to 50%. The last key point is that our technology supercharges photosynthesis. And that creates, of course, the energy that the plant needs to continue to produce cells and fruit. Now, some of the benefits that we're noticing on farms, and the farms we're testing this on, is increased yields, improved fresh weights of roots and vegetables, improved growth rate and vigor, better plant root structure, as I mentioned, better nutrient absorption, better resilience against pests and diseases, and better Brix to acid ratio on most fruits. Now, that means that the fruit's going to be sweeter and a much better flavor profile than before. Now, some of the installation methods, what this product actually is very simple. In this picture here, you see some of our smaller devices, and these would be for small test plots or small farms of less than 5 acres, or with irrigation systems of less than 4 inches. So typically, we would prefabricate a pipe fitting, as you see here, with one of our micro transmitters, which would be under the casing you see there, and the transmitters will be able to increase plant health for those small fields. On most fields, on most large fields, we have systems that go all the way up to 12 microtransmitters, as you see on the left. And those transmitters are programmed kind of like computer chips. If you imagine a computer chip sends instructions through the various components of a computer to send and receive information. Well, the microtransmitters in the Kyminasi plant booster are like computer chips that program the biological processes of plants. It basically tells the plants, here's what you need to do to absorb these nutrients, and here's how you balance the nutrient absorptions. Here's how you time everything perfectly so that the plants, that the components of photosynthesis that are needed at a given time are available to the plant. Now, in the middle here, you see a close-up of one of our devices installed on a large pump, and then on the right, you see what it looks like on the pipe itself. So these types of systems are attached to the outside of an irrigation system, and they're usually done near the pump or near the water source. And they cover a whole field, anywhere up to 160 acres on one device. So let's take a look at some of the results that we're seeing and why you should care. Why you should care whether we're giving this away for free or not, because until you see the kinds of results that we're achieving with this, it's not really going to benefit you, right? Well, I'm going to show you the results, and I'm going to show you why you should really take advantage of this while you have the opportunity, because this opportunity is not going to last for very long, guys. Now, the first case study we have is a 70% increase in weight. And this is on peppers down in Panama. Now, we also saw a 10 to 15 day better shelf life. In other words, after the fruit was picked, it took an extra 2 weeks longer to start to decay versus the control field. Now, this particular study was done on grapes. Now, we increased the Brix rating of these grapes and improved the overall quality. And that's a key component, which I'll share with you in a second. But in terms of just raw production, we gave him an extra 7% yield in just 44 days. So only in the last 6 weeks before harvest, we were still able to increase it by 7% over his control fields. And that resulted in 1,640 kilograms more per hectare, or 2.5 acres. And also we increased the Brix rating. And then we saw, when we did a tissue analysis of these grapevines, 14% more nitrogen absorbed, 10% more phosphorus, 47% more iron, and 20% more boron. Now, what that means is that plant, we proved that plant was absorbing more nutrients from the soil. Now, on the right, you see some of a picture of these grapes, but more importantly, you see kind of some of the economic results from this particular example here. Now, not only did he produce 1,640 more kilograms per hectare, he got more money for the grapes. He went from $1.46 per kilogram to $1.80 per kilogram with Kyminasi. And the reason is those grapes were a higher quality, and he was able to get more money for those grapes versus his standard grapes. And that netted him an extra $11,316 per hectare on that farm. Now, the next example we have, this is leafy vegetables. We wanted to show you this case study. It's an older version of our technology, but we wanted to show you because we want to show you that if you're growing lettuce or growing cabbage or kale or anything like a leafy vegetable, we would produce the same types of results, a 25 to 30% increase in yield on spinach, alfalfa, and kale. And you see here in the picture on the left with the Kyminasi how much darker green the leaves are, as well as how much larger they are and how much better they're looking versus control. We saw an 85% increase in yield on peppers down in Peru. And then we saw a 30% increase in yield with a 4 to 5 point increase in Brix on melons up in Washington State. Now, that's significant because his melons are usually, his cantaloupes and his melons are usually fairly sweet. They're usually around the 12 to 14 range. With the Kyminasi, he was able to get them up to 16 and 17. And that's a huge difference. If you are selling your fruit, and the biggest thing I hate when I go to a supermarket, of course, is you grab a watermelon or something, or a cantaloupe or something, and it just doesn't taste very sweet. The Kyminasi plant booster is not only increasing yield in terms of number of melons and the weight, they're also increasing the Brix rating, which means that fruit is sweeter and more flavorful as well. Another case study, this was done in a 2 weeks time span. It was right at the tail end of this particular farmer's season. He had plums that were very small, and he was worried that he wasn't going to be able to get them up to size in time for harvest. So he ordered one of our devices and installed it immediately. And he not only got the plums up to the big size that he wanted, the Brix on these plums went from 15 to 17 on the average, up to 17 to 20 on the average. So a 4-point increase on average on the Brix. And when he shipped us some of these plums so we could taste them, and they were some of the sweetest, juiciest plums I've ever had. Now, one of the reasons why he was having this issue before the Kyminasi plant booster is he decided to use a third less of his normal fertilizer on his trees because he wanted to see if he can still get the same production and save himself some money. Unfortunately, he was in jeopardy of losing his crop by doing that. But with the Kyminasi plant booster, even though there wasn't as much nutrition as he normally would put on his field, he got a better result in terms of Brix rating, and of course, he got the size that he needed. This particular farm was down in Peru. This was an asparagus farm, and he got a 49% increase in yield on asparagus. As you can see, he all the different days that he was getting a higher percentage, a higher kilograms average on his fields with Kyminasi. Here we have a 97% increase in fresh weight yield on peppers. This is ajipanca peppers, which is a hot pepper down in Peru. And you see here the difference in the actual size and quality. Now, we just took averages here. Now, you see we took 45 fruits of the Kyminasi and weighed them, and we got an average of 33 to 37 grams on the Kyminasi peppers versus a 17 to 25 gram average on the 38 peppers for the control. And you see why here, the difference in how much thicker and heavier they are, and much denser flesh, much higher quality fruit with the Kyminasi plant booster. We see increase in growth rate on a number of different crops. In this case, we had tangerine trees down south in South America. And you see the difference here. This is over a 26-day watering period. And we see how much difference there is in the Kyminasi seedlings, the trees here and the tangerines. You see how much wider and larger the leaves are. You see also all these little yellow leaves here. That's all new growth. The reason these leaves are lighter green or yellowish is because they're brand new growth. And what that means is that the Kyminasi is already producing a lot more shoots and a lot more new branches and new growth, versus the control here, which you see, it's a little hard to see there, but the leaves aren't even open yet. They're kind of curled in. They still haven't fully opened yet. And they're obviously not as green, not as healthy. And we're not seeing any new growth on that tree versus the Kyminasi. Next example here was on a citrus seedling. These are orange trees down in California. And not only did you see the Kyminasi here on the left, how much taller and larger that this tree, the seedling is, versus the control, which was his neighbor's tree across the way here without the Kyminasi. But the big difference, what you see here is this is a 1-year-old seedling here on the Kyminasi versus a 2-year-old seedling on his neighbor's field here. So everything else being more or less equal, same climate, same soil, same everything else. The difference is the Kyminasi field grew taller and larger in only a year. And this was over, I think, a 6-week period of watering with Kyminasi. He was so excited he bought for the entire rest of his farm because he knows he's going to get a much better product and better quality here going forward. In fact, we expect he's going to be able to get these trees to full harvest within 3 to 4 years instead of the normal 5 to 6 years. But we're going to wait and see on that. One of the reasons why we're seeing these huge differences in yield is because we're improving the root structure of these plants. And here we see cherry trees. You see in the top picture here, the Kyminasi plant booster has 50% more root density per tree than the control. So sorry about the little bit here. My kids are with me here today. So, but these are cherry trees. You see here, 50% increase in root density, and you see on the bottom what they look like. In fact, When we started back in December of last year, they all looked the same. Obviously, they all looked like just seedlings with no branches. After a month, you already see the Kyminasi cherry trees have a lot of branches and a lot more leaves versus control here. And by 4 months out, you see the Kyminasi trees already have a full canopy going. They're already really producing a lot of branches and leaves versus control, which has just a couple of branches and very sparse leaves. So the root structure is actually making the overall growth rate of these trees much faster. And this particular farm was having a trouble growing cherry trees because of the climate. They just weren't really well suited, but he's now going to be able to get a full crop of cherry trees. Another example we see on turf and grass, this was done over an 11-day period of watering with just Kyminasi, no fertilizer. And he's going to save about $2,000 a year on fertilizer now. And on a public park, same thing, much darker green, much healthier looking after 12 days. Better root structure again. This is on lemon trees, and here you see how much thicker and denser this taproot is on the trees here, and also how much longer the secondary roots are versus the control. Let me move my face out of the way here. See on the control how thin these look and how small these are. The root structure is nowhere near as well developed on the control versus Kyminasi. And you see what happens is on the bottom, the trees were much better density, much better canopy density, much better leaves, much darker green. And we also noticed the agronomist told us that he saw a drop in these leaf-boring worms on the Kyminasi trees of 5% in just 12 weeks. So it's about a 50% less infestation rate on the Kyminasi trees. Another example of that, increased pest resistance, was on Thompson grapes. This was over a 12-week period. We saw a reduction in this Europhid mite, went from 48% of his control vines to only 9.9% of the Kyminasi vines. And that resulted in a reduction of loss of 30%. So he was losing 30% of his yield to these mites. And now with Kyminasi, he's not going to lose that production. So sometimes it's not a matter of gaining extra production. It's a matter of reducing how much you're losing if you have pest problems. And the reason why this works is it's not a pesticide. The reason why this works is the Kyminasi plant booster enhances the overall health of the plant. So the plant's natural defense mechanisms against these predators kicks in, and then the predators will go elsewhere. They'll find weaker prey, so to speak, so that they get a better meal out of a non-treated plant. Here's a nursery, and we see here dragon fruit. This was done again. These here was done on a 1 gallon and a 5 gallon plants here, and you see here on the you actually see the picture here. He went from 5 to 6 weeks on his smaller varieties to only 2.5 to 3 weeks on his 1 gallon plants. Here you see in the picture a 5 gallon plant, and these were done in 5 to 6 weeks versus 10 weeks. So he was so excited on this that he actually said, I'm going to be doubling my production area, and I'm looking for new markets now because I'm looking to export these outside of California and into Arizona and even all the way over to the East Coast, because he makes a lot of money on these seedlings, and now he's going to have the production to where he's able to make a lot of money on this. If you want more results, guys, please go to our website and go to the results page, and you can see all the different results that we have. We're updating that on a regular basis, so we'd love to see you. So let's take a look at one more example of how much more money you as a farmer can make with Kyminasi Plant Booster. First, this is a grape example. We went from 9,840 kilograms to 10,528. His revenue went from 14,366 to 18,892. And his input cost went from 69.24 to 7,099. And the profit per acre went from 7,443 to 11,793. That's an increase in profit of $4,350. So just to answer some questions and summarize here, guys, the Kyminasi Plant Booster is a brand new technology. It's not magnets. It's not something you've heard of before. It's a brand new technology. It's very easy to install and put on your farm. It takes about 20 minutes to install, and then you don't have any maintenance after that for the next 2 years. It can be used on any farm that irrigates, and it doesn't require an external power source. And our farmers are thanking us for this. So the end of the day, guys, we want to leave you with is even at regular price, the Kyminasi Plant Booster is a huge benefit for farmers. Most farmers, most specialty crop growers are reporting 10 to 20 times return on their investment without any discounts. And with the Kyminasi Plant Booster, they're seeing huge benefits. In addition to crop yield, they're seeing huge benefits on and quality, as we've seen before. Now, with this Black Friday deal, you have literally doubling the return on investment because you order for a 10-acre plot or a 20-acre plot or a 50-acre plot or whatever, all the way up to 100 acres, we will match that order. So let's say if you have one pump that's 50 acres, we'll match it and give you a second pump at no charge. You have another pump that's 100 acres, and we'll match that for 100 acres. So let's say if you have a big pivot that's got 160 or 200 acres, you can pay for the 100 acres and we'll gift you the rest so you can put it on the entire pivot and watch a whole field. So this is a huge benefit, guys. This is we're not going to be giving this away for very long. It ends this Wednesday on the 3rd, excuse me, of December, and after that we're going to go back to regular prices. It's still an amazing deal and it's still well worth the price, believe me. But with a Black Friday, you don't want to miss that. You're going to be able to double the amount of acreage you're going to be able to cover, and there's no and it's a 100% money back guarantee. So it always works. It always produces excellent results, and we guarantee that it's going to work for you as well. So guys, take advantage of our Black Friday special. It's going on through December 3rd, as I mentioned here. It's a buy one, get one free. You purchase any plant booster system covering 10 acres or more, and we will match it up to 100 acres. And it expires Thursday, December 3rd at 5 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. So take advantage of this. We're going to have a link in the bottom of this post here so that you can fill out a form and we can have a consultation with you about your farm and show you how much more money you're going to make on your farm with the Kyminasi plant booster. So that's all we got today, guys. If you want more information, you can always call us at 727-324-6750. My extension's number 7. You can always call and ask questions, or we can set up a one-on-one consultation for your farm. So take advantage of this, guys. It's not going to be around for very long, and we want to take care of as many farmers as we possibly can. So have a great day and become one of the